the difference between like a pond and a river. And it's a lot like living with your hand either open or closed. Like a pond retains its water. It receives on occasion, but it doesn't flow out. And a river is like an open pond. It's just a conduit for other things. So you receive blessings, you pass on blessings. You receive blessings, you pass on blessings. A friend of mine had randomly invited me to her church, and she's like, you should come to my church. We meet at a high school. And I'm like, high school? Who meets at a high school? Like, really, church? Whatever, fine, I'm pregnant, I'll go. And so I go to this church, and then the pastor gets up there, and it was the first time I'd ever really heard the Bible just spoken in a way that was relatable and applicable to life. It was as though you had been watching a black and white movie, and then all of a sudden, boom, it's in color. When you start to come to realize that what I have is not my own, you're not as tied to it, and you're much more free to give it. What if God's calling me to take this act of faith and just step out in faith and just start giving? And I remember sitting there and looking at like my paycheck, and I'm like, well, all right, well, we're gonna do this. But I couldn't tell my husband because my husband wasn't going to church. And so I continued to tithe, even though it was a thing that I knew he was opposed to. And I remember there being like sort of a turning point for me. And it was a moment in which I could feel myself changing. You fall in love with someone and you get married, and you never expect that you're gonna grow in a faith that could potentially put a wedge between you. And I just remember lying in bed one night and thinking, what if this costs me my marriage? What if it comes down to God or your husband, your family? And I remember just sitting there crying and just deciding, God, I choose you. I choose you in all of it, and I just trust that it'll work out. And if it doesn't, I choose you. And so I did. I just decided I'm going to keep tithing. I'm just going to keep walking the walk, and I'm going to keep going to church. And that's when things just started to like move at lightning speeds. You know, there's a scripture verse about you and your whole family being saved, right? And I think it starts with one, and we all hope that the rest of our family be saved. But I can tell you that since I started coming to church, my husband, he got saved. And then his brother, he got saved. And his wife, she got saved. And his mother, she got saved. And I watched my mother-in-law and my kid get baptized at the same beach baptism years later. So it's just this continual journey of faith and obedience, right? So like you step out in obedience and you do this thing that feels hard and it's a sacrifice. But if you have faith that like God's gonna honor whatever you do, then he just blesses it all along the way. There's this saying that you can't outgive God. And I'm like, well, I'm gonna try, and I'm gonna see what happens.